What if I told you she didn't leave because you did something wrong, she left because you made her feel something too real?
Not love, not safety, but something deeper. Something dangerous. She felt seen, and that terrified her. Freud said it best. A woman's mind is a war between what she wants and what she's been taught to want. You didn't scare her. You awakened a part of her she's been running from her whole life, and that's why she disappeared. Not because she didn't care, but because you got too close to the truth. There's a part of every woman that wants to be seen, but also a part that's afraid of it. Not afraid of attention, not afraid of compliments. She's afraid of being truly seen by a man who can look past her image, her confidence, her smile, and see the woman underneath it all. The one who hides behind the strong face. The one who's been hurt before. The one who had to survive in a world that didn't always feel safe. When a man sees her real self, not the version she shows online, not the one shaped to please others, but the raw, unfiltered truth, it can scare her. Why? Because being seen like that is vulnerable. It's risky. It means letting go of control and trusting that someone won't judge what they find beneath the surface. Many women were taught early in life that love comes with pain. That if you let someone close, they'll leave. That if you open your heart, it'll break. So over time, they build emotional armor. Walls made of independence, silence, or even rejection. So when a man comes along who sees through it, who doesn't fall for the act but still stays present, it shakes her. Not because he's wrong, but because he's right. And that kind of truth can feel dangerous to a heart that's still healing. She may pull away, not because she doesn't feel something, but because she feels too much, and that's something her past never prepared her for. The disappearing act. Sometimes a woman will suddenly grow distant. She'll stop replying, she'll pull away, she'll vanish without a reason you can understand. And you're left wondering, did I say something wrong? Did I do too much? Or not enough? Was she pretending the whole time? But the truth is often more complex. She didn't disappear because she didn't care. She disappeared because she cared more than she knew how to handle. For some women, emotional closeness doesn't feel safe. Not because of anything the man did wrong, but because closeness awakens emotions she's buried for years. The moment a man begins to truly connect with her, not just physically or casually, but emotionally, something inside her gets activated. A deep, powerful feeling that reminds her of everything she's tried to forget. The heartbreak, the betrayal, the fear of being left. The childhood wounds no one ever noticed. When those old wounds are stirred, her natural instinct is to protect herself. And the fastest way to do that is to run. Disappear. To cut the connection before it gets too real. To shut the door before she gets hurt again. It may look like she's cold, it may feel like she's lost interest, but what's actually happening is a silent emotional battle inside her. And if the man doesn't understand this, he'll take it personally. He'll think she's rejecting him. He'll believe he wasn't enough. When in reality, it's her own fear and past pain taking over. Disappearing becomes her shield. Not against him, but against the possibility of being broken again. This isn't manipulation. This isn't cruelty. This is self-protection. The only way she knows how to stay in control when her emotions begin to overwhelm her. And the man who can see that, the man who doesn't chase, beg, or blame, but understands the deeper reason behind the silence, he becomes the one thing she never expected. Safe, even from herself. The war within her mind. Sigmund Freud believed that a woman's mind is not just peaceful thoughts and quiet emotions. He said it's more like a hidden battlefield, a place where two powerful forces fight against each other every day. On one side, there are her deep, natural desires. These are the things she truly wants. Things that come from her instinct, her body, her soul. They aren't learned or logical. They are felt. They whisper to her in private moments, when she's alone, when she's dreaming, or when she meets someone who awakens something real inside her. But on the other side, there is everything she's been taught to want. The rules from her childhood, the opinions of her family, the voices of society, culture, religion, teachers, media, They all told her what's acceptable, what's right, what kind of woman she should be. And so now she lives in the middle of these two forces. One part of her feels pulled toward truth, freedom, and power. The other part feels pressured to be good, to be safe, to be approved of. It's a silent war, not one that others can see, but one that shapes everything. How she chooses a man. When she runs away from love. Why she may feel confused even when things seem perfect. Why she might chase chaos and push away peace. This doesn't mean she's broken. It doesn't mean she's weak. It means she's human. Just like every man who struggles between emotion and control, between fear and desire. Her mind is not unstable. It's complex. And the more you understand this internal battle, the less you'll take her actions personally. Because sometimes when she pulls away, it's not because you failed, it's because your presence brought her closer to a part of herself she's not ready to face yet. The man. She can't control. There is a certain kind of man who changes everything for her. Not because he's loud, not because he tries to dominate the conversation, not because he shows off, shouts, or seeks attention, but because he does something much more powerful. He stays calm, still, unmoved by the drama, unshaken by emotions. He is centered in himself, grounded in his purpose, rooted in who he is, with or without her. This kind of man doesn't react when she pushes. He doesn't chase when she pulls away. He doesn't try to prove himself when she tests him. Instead, he observes. He listens. He allows her to express herself without trying to fix her, control her, or win her approval. That quiet strength, that emotional discipline, it confuses her because she's not used to it. She's used to men reacting to her silence. She's used to men getting emotional when she withdraws. She's used to being the one in control, even if she doesn't want to be. But this man, he doesn't play that game. He doesn't need to be chased or to chase. And that shakes something inside her. Because this kind of man doesn't get pulled into her storm. He stands in it. He waits for truth, not performance. He respects her emotions, but he's not controlled by them. She might not even understand why he affects her so deeply, why his presence feels different, why she can't predict him, can't shake him, can't make him fold. The truth is, this man makes her face parts of herself she usually avoids. He mirrors back her own uncertainty, her patterns, her defenses, and that can feel uncomfortable, not because he's wrong, but because he doesn't give her the emotional reaction she's used to. He doesn't collapse when tested, he doesn't apologize for being strong, he doesn't soften just to make her feel better. Instead, he stays still. And in that stillness, she is forced to feel what's really happening inside her. It's not that he doesn't care, it's that he cares without needing her approval. He listens without chasing validation, he leads without forcing. And that level of inner power, that grounded masculinity, it's not something she can control. And that makes him unforgettable. Because while most men try to win her, this man reminds her what it feels like to be around someone who has already won himself. Emotional patterns are not personal. Most men take it personally. When she pulls away after being close, when her words don't match her actions, when she says one thing, then does another, when she tests, withdraws, or changes suddenly, they think they did something wrong, that they weren't good enough, that they said too much, or not enough. But the truth is often much deeper and not personal at all. You see, every woman carries emotional patterns, not because she's broken, but because she's lived. She's felt things she didn't know how to process. She's experienced moments that shape the way she responds to closeness, love, and vulnerability. Maybe she grew up with love that came and went. Maybe affection was used as a reward. Maybe she was taught, silently, that getting too close to someone means getting hurt. That trust is dangerous. That being soft makes you weak. These beliefs didn't come from you. They came long before you, from childhood, from past relationships, from culture, from family, from fear. So when you show up in her life with consistency, when you offer something real, stable, present, her system doesn't always know what to do with it. Part of her might want to trust you, to open up, to believe this is different. But another part, an older, deeper part, may sound the alarm. Too close, too fast, it's not safe. And so she pulls back. She goes quiet. She questions everything. This isn't because you failed. This isn't because you're not enough. It's because something inside her got triggered, something she doesn't even fully understand. This is why men must learn not to react, not to chase, not to personalize her distance. Because when you respond with insecurity, she sees a reflection of her fear. You show her something she may have never experienced. A man who can hold steady even when emotions shift. And that is rare. So the next time she contradicts herself, when she says she wants space, then checks in again. When she shows interest, then seems distant. Pause. Breathe. Don't jump to conclusions. And most of all, don't take it personally. Because you're not dealing with just a moment. You're facing emotional history. A blueprint she didn't choose, but one she lives with every day. And your strength isn't shown by trying to fix it. It's shown by your ability to witness it without collapsing under it. The psychology of disconnection. Sigmund Freud never said that women are irrational. He said that all human beings, men and women, repress. That means we push down the truths we don't want to face. Not because we're dishonest, but because we're protecting ourselves. Repression is not weakness. It's a survival mechanism. And it usually starts young. When we feel something too strong, too painful, or too complicated to handle, we bury it. But buried emotions don't disappear. They wait. They find new ways to speak. And in many women, this shows up as disconnection. Not because they are manipulative, not because they don't care, but because their nervous system was trained to protect them, not to connect freely. So when a woman has repressed her true desires for years, when she's been taught to fear her feelings, to deny her needs, to silence her instincts, those emotions don't vanish. They resurface. But they don't come back clearly. They come back as mixed signals, as sudden silence, as attraction to unavailable people, as distance, coldness, or quick changes in behavior. It might seem like she's playing a game, but often she's not even aware of what's happening inside her. Her unconscious mind is running the show, trying to protect her from feeling too much, too fast. This is not about logic. It's not about right or wrong. It's about survival. A deeply rooted pattern she may not even recognize. She might push away the man who makes her feel safe and feel drawn to the one who keeps her guessing. Not because she wants chaos, but because chaos feels familiar. It mirrors the emotional patterns she grew up with. And here's what most men miss. If you chase her during this disconnection, if you try to fix it, force clarity, or take it personally, you're not helping her feel seen. You're confirming her fear that closeness means losing control. The real power is in patience, in stillness, in being a man who doesn't flinch when her emotions shift, who doesn't make her disconnection about himself. Because in that space, something healing can happen. She may begin to feel safe enough to reconnect with herself, not because you saved her, but because you didn't abandon yourself. Her disconnection isn't always about you, and your steadiness isn't about her. It's about choosing strength over reaction. That's where real connection begins. When both people stop hiding from their truth. Power is presence, not performance. Real power is quiet. It doesn't raise its voice. It doesn't need to be seen. It doesn't chase applause or beg to be understood. That's what makes it magnetic. A man rooted in true presence doesn't need to perform to prove his strength. He doesn't need to dominate the room. He doesn't need to constantly explain himself, because his energy speaks louder than his words. This kind of man creates a calming force without ever forcing anything. And whether she admits it or not, a woman feels it. She may have spent years surrounded by noise, games, or men trying to impress, but when she meets presence, something in her shifts. Because deep down, she doesn't truly want to control a man. What she really wants is to feel safe enough to release control, But safety doesn't come from compliance. It comes from clarity. From the man who doesn't fold when her emotions rise. From the man who doesn't get pulled into her storm, but remains grounded, stable, even when she's uncertain. This doesn't mean being cold or distant. It means being steady. She doesn't want to lead the relationship. She wants to relax into one, but only if the man before her can hold the weight of her doubts without trying to silence them. Only if he can stay calm when she tests his frame. Not because she's manipulative, but because her nervous system is scanning for stability. And here's the paradox. The more he tries to prove himself, the more power he loses. But the less he reacts, the more trust he earns. He doesn't win her by performing. He earns her trust by showing up with consistency, presence, and quiet confidence. This is the kind of power she can lean into. Not because he controls her, but because he doesn't need to. He gives her room to feel, space to be honest, and the security to let go. Not by demanding her surrender, but by embodying something worthy of it. Because at the end of the day, a woman doesn't surrender to noise. She surrenders to presence. And the man who learns to carry that presence, without performance, without ego, is the one who no longer needs to chase love. He becomes the one love finds on its own. The man who doesn't react. There's a rare kind of man who doesn't lose himself when a woman pulls away. He doesn't chase her when she gets quiet. He doesn't panic when her energy shifts. And he doesn't take it as a personal attack when she tests, retreats, or changes direction. Because he knows something most don't. Her behavior isn't always about him. It's often about her own internal war. The conflict between her longing for connection and her fear of being hurt. This man doesn't react to her confusion. He doesn't try to fix it or explain it away. He doesn't argue with her defenses. He holds his ground, not with force, but with presence. When a woman starts to disconnect, most men rush to fill the gap. They want answers, reassurance, closure. But this man doesn't seek control. He seeks truth. And the truth is that many emotional reactions, especially distance or coldness, are not rejections. They're signals of something deeper. Old pain, unhealed wounds, patterns learned long before he ever showed up. He doesn't see her behavior as betrayal. He sees it as a mirror, a reflection of what she's still working through. And that awareness changes everything. He doesn't lose his calm. He doesn't try to prove his worth. He simply observes, with clarity, not judgment. And this presence, this deep, masculine stillness, isn't cold or distant. It's powerful. It gives her space to face herself, without pressure or pursuit. It gives her a choice, to meet him in truth or to continue the cycle of fear. Either way, he stays rooted in who he is. He doesn't abandon his center to manage her emotions. That's what makes him strong. Not his dominance, not his words, but his ability to stay still while the storm passes. Because the man who doesn't react isn't ignoring her. He's respecting her space. And more importantly, he's respecting his own. In a world that constantly demands reaction, his silence is not weakness. It's wisdom. And that kind of man doesn't chase chaos. He transforms it simply by refusing to become it. If you're tired of chasing mixed signals, of feeling like love is a battlefield you were never trained for, then maybe it's time to stop asking why she left and start asking why you keep losing yourself trying to keep her. Because you're not here to be understood by chaos. You're here to rise above it, to master clarity, to become a man who doesn't react but responds. Not with noise, but with presence. Every week on this channel, we unpack the deeper psychology of relationships, power, and identity. No fluff, no fantasy, just truth. Raw, uncomfortable, and liberating. If this message cut deeper than you expected, it's because you're not just watching content, you're waking up. So if you're done chasing and ready to become the man who never needs to, subscribe now. New videos drop every week to sharpen your mind, strengthen your presence, and remind you exactly who you are. This isn't just a channel. It's a mirror, and the man you're becoming is waiting on the other side.